can also do is offer This is something that I personally did to sign a 7-figure clothing brand with no previous results.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Josh. I own a marketing agency and I specialize in growing e-commerce stores to millions of dollars per year online. What I'm going to be talking about today is how to sign your first client when you have no testimonials to show. Because the truth is, when you start, you're not going to have any proof. I'm going to teach you guys how to get them on the call, introduce yourself, show value, handle objections, and I'm going to teach you why confidence is way more important than proof when you're starting. Okay, so the first step is identifying a good prospect. Now, this will vary for what your exact niche is. Let's just talk about a clothing brand. What I would be looking for in a clothing brand outreach would be someone who's dropping consistently, active on social media, has a pretty solid following, and most importantly, has a good product. Other things I would look for is a website, if they have an email list, and just small things that show you that the brand is serious about growing their number. Now, when you're doing your outreach, you don't want to come off as desperate. I see a lot of you guys practically begging in these people's DMs to work for them. What you should do instead is just focus on curiosity. Your goal in the outreach is just to get them on a Zoom call. It is not to close them. You also want to provide value because you might pique their interest, but if they don't see it as valuable, they're still not going to respond. Now, honestly, use your resources. Think about, what does a brand want to hear? What could they be struggling with? Take these things, put them into ChatGPT. Do not copy the AI response, but reword it just to get some brainstorming going. If you wanted to, you could mention scarcity, that you're only doing this with 1 or 2 brands this month. Or if it's a local brand, what you could do is mention that you're in the area. People like working with people that they can relate to. Now remember, the goal is not to sell here. The goal is just to book them on a call. Step 2, introducing yourself on the call. All right, guys, you want to be casual on this call. For the first 5 to 10 minutes, just talk to them, build rapport, and act human. You can briefly share your story. You can explain what got you into ads, what you already know, what you're trying to accomplish, but you should also ask them about their story. Ask them what made them start their business and what pushes them to grow bigger. It's really important to actually understand the business that you're about to work with. If you have no idea how many clients they can handle, if you have no idea how much product they can move, you're gonna have a hard time working with them. You're also gonna have a hard time selling yourself because you're not gonna know what they're actually looking for from you. Another thing is, do not lie about where you are in the process on this call. It's okay to tell them that you're new to this, but you can still show value and explain how you're able to help them. It's okay to be honest that you're early, but you need to be confident that you can provide a service that is going to move the needle in their business. The key here is to control the energy. You do not want to be seeking approval or over-explaining yourself. Of course, answer questions when they ask and be open to questions, but you don't need to give them a run-on sentence to explain yourself. All right, guys, step 3, showing value without testimonials. What you should be doing is walking through your plan on your strategy with how you would grow their business. For example, you can say, I'd start by testing these creatives. Once we find what works here, I would start testing these audiences. Or based on your pricing and structure, these are the audiences that I would target to get the maximum return. Really just talk to them, show them what you know, prove that you know what you're talking about. Another thing is share related experiences that you've done before. Maybe you've helped someone with content or studied successful strategies. Maybe you even grew your own page. What you should be doing is tying it back to how that translates into paid ads. I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but think of it as like your first job interview. You didn't have a job before, you've only ever been in school, and they start asking you questions about how you know you can work well with others. No, you can't say, I worked in a kitchen for 4 years and I know I'm good with the chef, but you can say that you've done school projects and you were able to take lead. You're still able to show your value to a community, even though it's not the exact same thing. Drawing these parallels can make it seem like you have more proof than you did. Another thing that's important is to actually have market knowledge. What you should be doing is studying brands in the niche that you're trying to get into. See what's working and see what's not. That way you can show the brand that you're knowledgeable in the space. All right, guys, step 4, handling objections. This is gonna be huge. Some common objections that you're gonna get is, do you have any proof that this works? How can I trust you? And what if this doesn't work? What you need to do is reframe what they're actually asking. For example, you're not paying me for what I've already done, you're paying me for the results that I'll get for you. Or, if this was a scam, why would I be hopping on a Zoom call and breaking down my whole strategy for you? What you can also do is offer a performance-based trial option. This is something that I personally did to sign a 7-figure clothing brand with no previous results. For the first month of working with them, I only took 1% of the results that I generated, no retainer at all. But I preface this with telling them that this was a discounted month since I was trying to get into the space, and they knew that moving forward, they would have to pay the retainer as well as the percentage. Confidence is going to be key here, guys. If you fold when they start to push back, they're not gonna think that you'll be able to sell their product. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They either buy your confidence or you buy their doubt. All right, guys, step 5. The power of confidence and transferable skills. Clients don't buy credentials, they buy certainty. And if you're confident in what you do, it's often more convincing than someone who has results but has no enthusiasm. Like I mentioned with my whole job interview example, you can mention your past skills and how they're going to apply into doing this for them. For example, if you've been in sales, you understand messaging. Another example is if you've run a page for your own in the past, you know what people are going to engage with. Being able to show how these other skills transfer into running ads is going to make you a lot more valuable in the eyes of the brand than someone who just says they have no experience. You might even come across as more valuable than someone with proof and testimonials just because of the way that you carry yourself. My final tip is to be solution oriented. You need to act like the problem solver that they need in their business. I know that these tips will help you guys sign your first client. Why do I know that? Because this is the same formula that I used to sign my first client. Remember these steps, guys. Get them on the call, lead confidently, present them your plan, handle their doubts, and close confidently. If you guys still need any external help, I'll leave a link to the Discord in the bio. It's completely free. Not trying to sell you anything. There's a ton of people in there, good resources, can totally help you out. I 100% recommend joining. Other than that, I hope this video really helped you out. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next, and if you're struggling with anything else that I can be able to help you with. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll also leave those in the description. Other than that, I appreciate you guys, and remember to come back and comment once you get your first client, because I know you all will. Oh, make sure to subscribe too.